Welcome to Crater Stadium in between the New Philadelphia Quakers. The Tornadoes come in at 8-1, while the Quakers a perfect 9-0. Scott Robinson and Chuck Rest with you. And Chuck, this game is the one that everybody's been waiting for since the beginning of the season.
Well, I think, Scott, everybody picked Dover and New Philly to be right at the top this year with the kids they had coming back. And beautiful night tonight the way it is, just what we wanted. I think it's going to be a heck of a football.
And back on the Chibos pregame show with head coach Dan Ift of the Dover Tornadoes. Well, Coach, Week 10, this is the one everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah, you can see it coming away down the road. They knew they had a great film prior to that, but after seeing a film, I can see why everybody's excited.
What's practice been like this week? Everything been fairly normal routine? I mean, it's hard to stay in your normal routine.
Criticism I have.
As far as tonight against New Philadelphia, there aren't a whole lot of secrets between the two teams, but certainly you've been watching them very closely for a few weeks.
Yeah, and I really don't know them very well. I mean, in the past, I could look at a couple games and get a good feel for them. Everybody what they've got, and I think they've got a pretty good offensive line and a pretty good defensive line. I think it's probably why they've mauled people, and I don't think Matt's had to show a lot because of that.
What are you going to have to do?
Yeah, the game still comes down to hitting and tackling, and those are the key ingredients that we have. Running back like a you're going to have to tackle people. And team that hits better and tackles better usually wins these games.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Tornadoes will come back with more on the Chibos pregame show in a moment. Stay with us here on Big Time Sports. And back on the Chibos pregame show with head coach Matt Dennison of the New Philadelphia Quakers. Well, Matt, Week 10's here. It's one everybody's waited on. How has practice been this week?
Well, you don't have to do a whole lot coaching this week as far as motivation goes. Our kids are ready to play, and we're excited, and it's going to be a great night, and a lot at stake. It's what this game's supposed to be about.
You've been in this game now 7-8 times. It's always fun for everybody, the kids especially. How hard is it to get the kids to focus this week as far as practice goes?
Well, really not so much. The kids don't have a ton of distractions. It's more the coach have more distractions. So it makes for a couple late nights. You drink a little more coffee and shoot a couple Red Bulls, and you're all right.
Yeah. What about the game tonight? The Dover Tornadoes very good defensively. They've got an offense that puts a lot of points on the board as well.
Yeah, what people look for, I think, is you got two very good defenses going against each other and against two high-powered offenses. So it should be interesting to see how it plays out.
What do you think is going to have to be the key for the Quakers tonight?
Well, as in any game, and Coach Ift alluded to it in the paper, is that you got to see what happens up front. And the battle in the trenches is usually where the team the most successful team there usually wins.
All right, good luck tonight.
Thanks, Scott.
Head coach Matt Dennison of the New Philadelphia Quakers. That's been the Chibos pregame show. Stay with us for more pregame and the kickoff in a moment right here on Big Time Sports. We are just moments away from the 106th meeting between Dover and New Philadelphia. The all-time series is led by Dover with 49 wins. New Philadelphia has 47, and there have been 9 ties. This game really has not only implications as far as the league title for the East Central Ohio League goes, but also for the playoffs. The New Philadelphia Quakers currently have the 6th spot in the latest playoff rankings for Division II Region 7. There are 11 teams in the mix for 8 spots. With a win, New Philly would likely secure a spot and also possibly have enough points to jump up to host a game into that number 4 spot. A loss, and their hopes really depend about how everyone else does. Dover's assured of a first-round home game no matter what the outcome is they're ranked 2nd in the computer standings in Division III Region 11. Only Steubenville has more points, and Dover could possibly meet Steubenville again in the regional finals like they did several years ago. Two teams played twice last year. Dover took both contests by a combined 75-7 score. Overall, Dover has won 4 straight dating back to 2005. For the Tornadoes under Dan Ift, they are 8-1, 5-0 in the East Central Ohio League. Their only loss was by 1 point to Canfield during Week 3. Offensively, the Tornadoes putting 39 points a game on the board, giving up 9.5 defensively. They have a couple of key players, and one of those is Marcus Mammarella, who broke the single-season quarterback rushing record held by Corey Lazowski. He did that last week against Coshocton, and he now has 885 yards on the season. Big key for the Tornadoes is their first quarter scoring. So far through 9 games, they have outscored their opponents 111-6 in the first period of their ball games. Also, we want to talk a little bit about defensively. The Tornadoes have been very strong up front with Tyler Hawk, Brandon Murtaugh, Justin Roth, Keith Johnson, and Christian Ift. And then you've got the linebackers, Marcus Mamarella, Andrew Bates, and also Chance Shalosky in there as well. And their special teams have returned a couple of punts for touchdowns. They've got a very solid kicking game with Zach Rafter. He is 43 of 46 on extra points. Ian Drapcho averages more than 33 yards per punt. One of the interesting things, and I'm not sure what to make out of this as far as the strength of schedule goes, Dover's non-conference opponents are 25 and 11. Their East Central Ohio League opponents are 16 and 29 overall for a 41 and 40 record. While New Philadelphia's non-conference opponents are 8 and 28, and they are 16 and 29 with East Central Ohio League teams. So overall, their strength of schedule, the teams they have played so far this season have 24 wins and 57 losses. So Chuck, let's talk a little bit about the New Philadelphia Quakers and where are we at with some stats for New Philadelphia?
Well, Scott, with New Philly, you know, that this has been one of those years where they've been offensively, they've done so many things. Team-wise, they've scored 448 points, which is a 49.7 per game average. They've only given up 57 on the season. It's a 6.3 per game, just a little over a touchdown. Offensive leaders, and I know you've heard he's broken so many records at New Philly this year and having a great year. Will McEwen, he averages about 177 yards a game rushing the ball. Cody Cox leads the offense, you know, from his quarterback position, where he averages about 136 yards a game passing. Also in there, you know, is Cody Garibrand, who does a lot of things for them special teams wise, where he and Will McEwen are your two big guns. Again, you know, defensively, they've been just solid defensively, led by Cody Garibrand with 48 solo tackles and 32 assists. Mike Anderson's from his nose guard spot has had 48 solo tackles and 24 assists. And then from his linebacker spot, Dylan Barbie has had 30 solo tackles and 27 assists. And then the secondary, McEwen leads that group with 3 interceptions. So I think, Scott, you know, it's just, you know, really gearing up to be a great football game, evenly matched football game. I think it's going to be one of those things where, you know, this could go either way. You know, both defenses are good. Both offenses are good. We could have a high-scoring football game. But you know what? On the other hand, 3 scores one way or another may win this game also.
Okay, so let's take a look at the Dover football statistics. Also, thanks to Sean Lobel, the Dover team statistician, his wife Tina. We appreciate their help. Marcus Mamarella, 150 carries, 885 yards, averaging nearly 6 yards per carry, 13 touchdowns. Keith Johnson has done a nice job out of the backfield. He's got 9 touchdowns out of 64 carries for 333 yards. Passing, Marcus Mamarella is 79 of 133 for nearly 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And Derek Switterman, the sophomore backup quarterback, is 19 of 37 for nearly 500 yards. 19 of those passes, 6 of them have been for touchdowns, and I think he could be one of the keys in our game tonight. As for the receiving, Colton Zahner, 45 catches for 662 yards for a 14-yard per carry average. And also Ian Drapcho, 22 catches. Ricky Maz with 15 catches. For the defensive unit of the Tornadoes, the leading tackler is Andrew Bates. He's got 73 tackles. Brandon Murtaugh right behind with 72. Tyler Hawk with 49. Keith Johnson, 46. Christian Ift with 42. And Chance Shedlowski with 40. Well, we have a chance. Let's take a look at Chuck Ress' keys to the game for our ball game, as both Dover and New Philadelphia have some things that they really want to work on and hope go their way tonight.
Well, let's look at New Philly first. You know, one of the things in special teams which they've done well all year, and I think I put it down there, special teams have to be special. But by that I mean that a punt return or a kickoff return, something like that would, you know, spark that team tremendously. The second thing is that the offensive line has to control their side of the football. I think, you know, they've moved the ball well this year. One of the best offensive lines that New Philly's had in the past, but I think, you know, that's going to be a key there, that they got to give Cody Cox time to throw the ball, and they got to open some holes up for Cooper Hill and Will McEwen. Defensively, they need to get a couple takeaways for the evening, and I think, you know, that momentum there with a defensive turnover, I think that sparks your football team real quick. Dover, their keys to victory, I think mix it up on offense. Marcus has shown that, you know, not only can he throw it, but he's a key to running the football for him. And I think they got to get in situations where, you know, they got to be in a 2nd and 5 or a 2nd and 1 or 2 and keep New Philly off balance a little bit. Their D-line must control the line of scrimmage for them to win. If they take it to New Philly's offensive line and shut them down offensively, I think that's going to be huge for them. And again, if they can get a touchdown on special teams, which they've shown to, Scott, all year long, we've seen them return punts, as well as anybody around. So again, special teams, and either way, could be a big key to this football game.
So the New Philadelphia Quakers will receive. Dover won the toss and deferred. We'll come back. We'll have our starting lineups and our kickoff in a moment. So you stay with us right here on Big Time Sports. The New Philadelphia Quakers are on the field. The Dover Tornadoes ready to come out. The Quakers will receive as the Tornadoes won the toss and deferred until the second half. Hey, Chuck, one of the things that we haven't really talked about are actually the weather conditions. A great night of football. But one thing we have seen is it is just a little bit windy.
Yes, that might be, Scott, it may get a little more windy tonight. I know it's expected to come up a little bit, and that could be a key to this football game in the second half, depending on which team may have the wind to their back in the fourth quarter.
Well, the New Philadelphia Quakers will start on offense. Dover will start on defense. Let's take a look at our starting lineups, if we can, for our ball game tonight, the 106th meeting between the New Philadelphia Quakers and the Dover Tornadoes. For New Philadelphia offensively, they'll start with Cody Cox at quarterback. At fullback will be Cooper Hill. Will McEwen will be a tailback. Flanker, Trenton Bird. Zach Denham will be the split end. Kyle Witter, the tight end. A very good offensive line. Zach Alcorn and Nick Barrow at the tackles. Cage Demateo and Ethan Day, the guards. Ethan Zuckel at center. So a very solid offensive unit that's averaging about 50 points a game for the New Philadelphia Quakers. Defensively against the Dover Tornadoes, they are going to have their hands full, though, as they have a very solid unit themselves, which we'll get to see here momentarily. As you see the defensive line, Brandon Murtaugh, nose guard, Tyler Hawk and Justin Roth, the defensive ends. They'll go with a 3-5. The linebackers will be Andrew Bates, Christian Ift, Marcus Mammarella, Keith Johnson. And then actually the 4 defensive backs, Ricky Maz, Colton Zahner, Adam Moss, and Ian Drapcho. Actually, it'd be a 3-4. So we are just about ready to go. And this is what everybody's waited for, Chuck. Let's face it. I mean, have you heard anything else in town except what do you think is going to happen at the Dover Philly game Friday night?
Since last Friday night when Dover muttered their way out of Coshocton, that's what everybody wanted Saturday morning, to see these two teams come in and play for this ECOL championship, number 1. And then number 2 is, this is just a big key to winning this football game and going into the playoffs next week. So, like you said before, Philly's almost, they've got to win because they're so tight within their region that you had 11 teams, where Dover, they're automatically in. But you know what? You never want to lose a football game and then have to turn around the next week and play for the Marbles again.
So the Quakers will have Will McEwen and Cody Garbrandt back deep to receive the kick. Those two have been a real potent combination on special teams.
Well, it's kind of funny, too, that you mentioned that. We could talk about this a little bit before the kickoff. Garbrandt just comes from Claymont this year. Last year, Murtaugh came from Indian Valley. 2 transfers into 2 different schools, and both of them have been, forces for their football teams this year.
Zach Rafter ready to kick it away for the Tornadoes as we get ready for the latest edition of this rivalry game. A high kick will be taken by McEwen at the 15 to the 20, the 25, hit there and down at the 29-yard line. So that is where the New Philadelphia Quakers will take over. And you've got to think that there's going to be a few wrinkles in this game that we haven't seen all season.
Oh, I don't think either one of them, the way they had their season gone. And we talked a little bit, and you even alluded to it some, that, both of these schools have had blowout football games, so they've been able to play a lot of different people. So, in practice a little bit as a coach, you always try to throw those wrinkles in every now and then, to just keep that football team a little bit on top of things. So, yeah, don't be surprised either way. We may see something we haven't seen.
Bird and Denham, the wide receivers. The eye behind Cox, who's under center here on 1st down and 10. The handoff to McEwen, and not much there as the Tornadoes right on top of it as Justin Roth sneaks in behind to make the tackle, and quickly the Quakers lose a couple of yards on first down.
Well, their defensive line right there, Scott, just slanted the proper way that time, and one of the linemen for Philly wasn't able to get his head across, and again, lose 2 yards there on the Quakers' first attempt today.
Second down and 12. Quakers will stay in the eye. The draw play to McEwen. He'll get some yardage back out across the 30, maybe to the 31 or 32 yard line, and it'll be quickly third down.
Well, you're in a situation I don't think either team wants to be in, as good as both defenses are, in a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 situation, because now you can pretty much pin your ears back and know that you know, they're going to throw the football.
So the Tornadoes will come in with their nickel package. And the Quakers will go with 2 wideouts. You got to watch out for Kyle Witter, the tight end, in this situation as McEwen goes in motion, and we've got an offsides on the Quakers. That'll back them up 5. So a false start, and that'll set them back. You got to think about nerves in this game too. Some of the players that maybe have never played the type of roles they're playing tonight in this game, so there's going to be a lot of nerves.
Yeah, it really helps, you know, when you play in this football game as a junior or a sophomore and be able to come in as a senior. You know, you're just a little bit more calm than you are, as, like you said, a senior that maybe has never started in this ball game and only played special teams or something. It's a whole different ball game.
Cox looking for help from the sideline, and the Quakers going to have to burn a timeout here in the first quarter with 10:19 to go. Hey, from suits to work boots, try Miller Clothing and Shoes in downtown New Philadelphia. Marty Miller has a team of all-stars like Hager, Lee, and Wrangler jeans. And for your feet, it's Hush Puppy and Red Wing shoes. You can complete your wardrobe with Carhartt, Van Heusen, and Arrow. The best is at Miller Clothing and Shoes in downtown New Philadelphia. Stop in and say hi to Marty Miller on behalf of Big Time Sports. So, boy, that's a surprise. Less than 2 minutes in the game, the Quakers have to take a timeout with some confusion offensively.
Well, I think what happened was that they only had 10 minutes on the line, you know, in the huddle that time. I think Zach Denham, you know, come out and nobody come in for him. So Cody Cox was waiting there for a second and saw that, you know, he wasn't going to have time to get the playoffs, so he had to call that timeout. So, like you said, you know, timeouts in this ball game too, which we don't talk about a whole lot. You hate to use them this early.
So 3rd down and 12. And Cody Cox under center. McEwen will come in motion to the right side, the wide side of the field. Cox has been very accurate across the middle. He's got a man there. It's overthrown, intended for Kyle Witter. Christian Ift had coverage.
Well, they had good coverage on that too, but Will McEwen was breaking a little bit deeper, and I'm not sure that, you know, I know he was throwing to Witter on that one, but I think he could have tried to get it over his head a little bit, and McEwen would have been right behind him about 10 yards, maybe make a completion out of that.
So Cody Cox will punt. He'll have the wind behind him as Ricky Maz and Ian Drapcho drop back to their own 40-yard line. Cox gets a good snap. Kick is away. Tornadoes are going to have good field position. And it will be Maz that will field it at the 47-yard line. And a little bit of contact after the catch. No harm, no foul, and Dover will have great field position. If we have a chance, we might get a chance to take a look at the starting lineup for the Dover offensive unit. As Marcus Mammarella at quarterback. For wide receivers, Abio, Maz, Zonner, Drapcho, and Murphy. Orr and Irwin at the tackles. We've got Cody Gordon and Alex Abio at the guards. Danny Gindervin, the center, in there for Cam Casimir, who was injured earlier in the season. 1st down and 10 for the Tornadoes. We'll set the Quaker D here in a moment. In motion to the right side is Murtaugh. The pass. Swinnerman started at quarterback. Mammarella had the catch. Let's take a look defensively at the Quakers. You've got Barrow, Anderson, and Lauber up front. The linebackers, Dansby, Barbie, Witter, and Hill, along with Garbrandt, and McEwen, Bird, and Barrett back deep. It's a little bit of a surprise here, Chuck, with Derek Swinnerman starting at quarterback.
Yeah, it does kind of surprise you a little bit. I thought they'd let Marcus start out and then go from there. But, you know, there's one of those wrinkles we talked about early.
Well, I said all along I thought he was going to be one of the keys to this game. The pass just overthrown for Zahner. And Derek Swinnerman has come on and has been able to throw the long ball. And this is really showing a lot of confidence, Dan Ifta is, in his sophomore quarterback.
He sure is. And, you know, go back to play one. McEwen makes a great stop on that one. Now you come back here, try to go deep. Bird had that one covered. So, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a chess game here to figure out what they're going to do.
3rd down and 13. You like to have that experienced receiver in Mammarella out there, though, too. That's a nice target. As Swinnerman looks across middle, overthrown, and Zahner gets leveled by Joe Barrett at the 35-yard line.
Well, you know, we just talked about that before. You know, you're looking at a sophomore back there, quarterback to start with, and you can see right there, he had Zahner wide open on that one and just couldn't connect on him. He overthrew it. You know, that's a little bit of the jitters, I suppose, on what he's doing.
Well, he's been pretty accurate throughout the season, but he's never had playing time like he has tonight against a quality opponent when it really mattered.
That is true.
So Will McEwen, the lone safety back for the Quakers. And the punt will be Logan Mahallam, and that will drop in at about the 15-yard line. So Mahallam comes up with a big kick.
Well, that happened right there, Scott. You can see that McEwen slipped down on that field, and I know when we were down there looking at it before the game, I mean, it's great field conditions, everything, but it is a little bit soft, and I think when Will took off to go after that one, his feet went out from under him. But, you know, of the better two starting positions, Dover had it, and Philly held. Now Philly comes back with second possession, and, you know, about a little worse than what they started with.
Both Dover and New Philly first possessions, both 3 and outs. So 1st down and 10 for the Quakers at their own 15-yard line. Cox rolling to the left, the run, and they got about 4 or 5 yards. So positive play.
That was a nice job right there by Cody. Just a nice fake to him into McEwen into the line and kind of held those linebackers. And like you said, that was about a 5 or 6 yard gain for him.
You know, one thing that's amazed me about Cody Cox, in fact, he hasn't thrown an interception all season.
How about that? Yep, that's and you know, if you look at him, I mean, his stats passing the ball, you know, were pretty good. Where he was 68 and 88 for the season so far.
So Caleb Valeka wide to the right side. Witter will switch from left to right along the line. And the handoff to McEwen, and he doesn't have much running room there as Andrew Bates is in there quickly to make the tackle along with a group of other Tornadoes.
I think we got McEwen just a little twisted ankle there on that one, so they're going to have to bring somebody in for him. And
that cannot be good news for the Quakers.
That's not. Nope. No, that's one you don't want to lose too quickly.
So that is going to be a problem, and that's something that the Quakers have not had to face all season with key players basically as injuries.
You know, you talked about it. I mean, New Philly has not lost any of their key players all year long until Lawver had a little accident with his dog. You know, which was kind of freak, and he broke his hand, and, you know, Dover's been the same way. You know, they turned around. They've been pretty much injury-free all year long, too, until they lost their center a couple weeks ago. So, you know, they've both been very lucky that they haven't had injury.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have found a set of car keys.
Cody Garbrandt will come in at the tailback spot. Now, he's been a good backup.
Oh,
he's no stranger. He's very capable, but it doesn't give the Quakers quite the dimension.
Yeah, right. He's done a very adequate job when he's been back there, and they have to step into this role tonight.
So we'll see what happens. That injury occurring very early. It's 3rd down and 2 here for the Quakers. Garbrandt's got it. He's going to be stopped short. Chance Shalosky with the tackle at the 24-yard line. It'll be a couple short. Quakers will have to punt it away again.
Well, you know, Dover had pretty good field position to start out with on their first series, and this is backed up a little 5 or 6 yards more. So Cody Cox is going to have to get off a nice boot here. That's one thing about it, though, you know, Scott, when you don't want to kick the ball too deep, and you know, to this Dover team, because they have a heck of a return.
Cox's kick's going to go off the side of his foot, and the Tornadoes are going to get good field position around the 45-yard line or thereabouts.
But you know, you might look at that as a bad kick, but honestly, you know, that really wasn't it wasn't too terrible of a kick.
So let's see what the Tornadoes decide to do here, if they'll bring out Switterman or if they'll allow Mammarella to take this series.
I'm going to say they're going to go with Mammarella here.
I'm thinking just settle things down
and
a
I
little
think
bit.
that was one of those things that Dan wanted to look at and put him in there, because you know, you never know how much you will need him this game.
So Mammarella out of the shotgun here with Johnson in the backfield. In motion is Drapcho. The handoff to Johnson. He's got some running room inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line.
Well, you know, that's a key right there, that if there's been a little bit of a problem with New Philly's defense, it's where, you know, people just line them and run right at them. They've had a little bit of slow start on that until they get their feet underneath them, and you can just see right there Johnson picks up 9 yards on a run.
So 2nd down and 1, the types of downs the Tornadoes really like. Everybody in tight. Mammarella's going to take it himself. Finds some running room. Has the first down. Down to about the 32-yard line for another gain of 5. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Tornadoes.
You know, this is kind of the first time, you know, we've seen them this year where they're using their bunch spread, which I would call a bunch, where they got everybody in probably within 6 or 7 yards of each other. You know, so just a little bit of a wrinkle in Dover offense right here.
Maz and Murphy to the left side. You've got Zahner and Drapcho to the right. Drapcho in motion. He's going to get the handoff. Looks for a block. Cuts inside. Still on his feet. And down near the 25-yard line before the tackle made there by the Quakers' Ben Lawver.
Well, right now Dover's just going to take it to him. You can see they've run the same formation this whole series. They've given it 3 different people run the football, and they've been successful on each one. As you can see right there, just a little bit of a jet sweep from the motion man to pick them up again 5 yards.
2nd down and 4 for Dover. They've been very effective running the football here on this drive. This time Mammarella will take him himself, and not as much there that time, as Kyle Witter is there, Mike Anderson is there.
Tackle by Kyle Witter, along with Josh Peter.
So the Quakers trying to tighten up defensively. It's 3rd down and about 3.
Well, you're in a situation here with Dover. You know, now they come out with their spread offense, so 3 yards is a good situation with the Tornadoes, as Mammarella can you know, have the option, I'm sure, of running it or passing it here.
So they work out of the shotgun. 5 wides in the pattern. Mammarella's going to take it himself, and he is going to be short. And now, if they want to, they could try a field goal. Or being early in the game, I got to think they might try and go for it.
That's what I would think. I think they're going to go for it. They've been pretty successful defensively against New Philly so far, and you know, I just think it's one of those situations. You're down here, you don't know how many times you may get down here tonight, so go ahead. It's early in the ball game. Go ahead and try it.
You're not really losing a lot of field position if you don't make it. If you do make it, you know, there's a pretty good chance you might put some points on the board. 4th down and 3. Tornadoes are going to take a timeout to talk about it. And boy, when they have a little bit of time to decide what they want to do, they generally come up with something that's pretty good.
Yes, they do. They usually come up with something. And you know, with Mammarella, you know, with him a quarterback, like I said on the play before, you know, you just have so many options with him. You know what I mean? And if he can't find somebody right off the bat on a stop pattern, something like that, he's going to tuck it and run it. And like you said, more times than not, he's going to pick up 4 yards.
Hey, we want to remind you, too, to stop in at Gary's Italian Market in Deli on Tuscarawas Avenue in Dover. Stop in for lunch, ask for the Big Time Sports Special. They'll be happy to hook you up. It's a great place to stop in, have a sandwich, get a bag of chips, some pop, and enjoy the meal at the Gary's Italian Market in Deli on Tuscarawas Avenue in Dover. So here we go, 4th down and 3. You got to wonder if they won't try to draw them off sides. Maybe hard count too. Mammarella will take the snap, takes it himself, has the first down and more at the 15, the 10, down to the 7-yard line before Lauber is able to make the tackle at about the 7-yard line.
Well, right there it was. It was just a half a step from the linebacker position for the Quakers that they went left and took Johnson's fake, and he made a nice fake, and Mammarella just saw that opening on the left side, took it up, and
let's take another look on the Weaver, or on the Domino's Pizza big play.
Just a nice fake by Johnson right there, and Mammarella kept it in there, tucked it, and away he went on that play. Nice job.
So the Tornadoes with the first chance to score here. The handoff to Johnson down to the 5-yard line before Barrow is there along with Anderson and Witter to stack it up. So it is 2nd down and goal from inside the 6-yard line.
You know, the thing about it is, Scott, we haven't seen them. I think with the offense that they have right now, I'm sure they're going to try to keep the football on the ground if they can. You can see them right now coming out to what they had in their game against Coshocton last week, that stacked eye that they run.
So out of the stacked eye, Mammarella under center. Hands it off to Murtaugh, and Murtaugh's got nowhere to go, maybe just inside of the 5. And, you know, as we talked about it, it's not such a big deal here down inside the 5-yard line. But Will McEwen was a starting defensive back for the Quakers, too. They had to replace his spot not only offensively, but defensively.
Exactly. I mean, you know, he's one of those kids that he plays everything for him, and that's going to be a, like I said, if he can't come back in either way, it's a huge loss for the Quakers, on both sides of the football.
So 3rd down and 5. Tornadoes have kept it on the ground in this drive with 2:42 to go here in the first quarter. 3rd and goal. Mammarella looks for the little slip screen. The pass is dropped. It's incomplete. 4th down, and now I think the Tornadoes are going to go for the field goal.
Well, we're not sure here.
We don't see anything.
It looks like that's what I thought. I thought that might be just an automatic field goal right there, but you know, it looks like they're going to go ahead and try to put 6 on the board.
Well, Tornadoes going to go for a little bit of a surprise here. Give them credit. Trying to score early. They want that first score. Mammarella with the spread offense. Drapcho in motion, rolling to his right. Mammarella rolling to the corner. Jump pass, corner of the end zone, out of the hands of Maz in the deep corner.
Well, that was a big play right there for the Quakers. You know, that's just a momentum changer for them, seeing that they put the Tornadoes down there. And, you know, you just wonder a lot of times, Scott, what you're thinking as a football coach on that. You don't second guess them. They know what they do. They're around their kids all day long. You know, coach just thinking, hey, I got to put touchdowns on the boards. I can't put field goals on.
Let's take another look.
You know, they had everything open. I'm not so sure when I first looked at it. When I see Mammarella right here make this stop and fake, I'm thinking he's possibility can run the ball into the end zone, but he goes ahead and stops and kind of throws a little jump pass Maz's way, and I think he kind of threw it in between both receivers, and each one of them didn't know who was going to take it.
So the Quakers will have it 1st down and 10 at their own 3-yard line. Witter in motion. Cox looks to go to the outside. The out and up route to Witter. And that pass is overthrown. It'll be 2nd down.
Oh, it's good route right there, and good chance by Coach Dennison on that one to get out of there quick. But Cody Cox just kind of overthrew him by about 3 yards.
They have started to go to Kyle Witter a little bit more here in the first quarter, as I thought they would. We talked about it on the Big Time Sports Show this week. I thought he was going to be a key for the Quakers.
Well, I think there's no question about it. You know, you look at him, he leads the team in receiving with 27 catches, and you know, he's a nice-sized tight end and can do a lot of things, got great hands. So, you know, it doesn't surprise you that Witter needs to be in this ball game.
Bird to the left, Denham to the right. Cox is going to take it himself. Sidesteps one tackler. and then is quickly brought down.
You know, that's the one thing that people don't understand when you look at Cody Cox. You know, it doesn't look like there's much to him, but like they said, you know, he's the fastest kid on the football team for New Philadelphia, and he's a little bit elusive when he gets out there in the open field. But again, you know, you got a pretty stout defense you're going against tonight too.
Chance Shalaski and Andrew Bates make the tackle, and we're ready to go with 3rd down and 5. The Quakers really need to get a first down here and get some yardage, so they'd have room to punt at some point here.
Yeah, it just seems like each series they're going backwards.
Cox looks to the outside. Good job by the offensive line. Now Cox is in trouble. Throws to the outside and to the Dover bench. It'll be 4th down. Good effort defensively. Thought they gave Cox enough time to find a receiver.
They gave him plenty of time. It was just a secondary for Dover. Just had everybody covered, and you know, there was just no openings for Cody. Did a smart thing, threw the ball away. But, you know, each time now, New Philly's had the punt. They've just gone backwards each time, and Dover's had better field position after each punt.
Dover's getting a shorter and shorter field. So Cox will end up punting out of his own end zone. Good snap. Kick his way, and that's a beauty. That Maz will let go, and that was an absolute misplay by the Tornadoes.
Well, that's exactly what New Philadelphia needed, was a great punt by Cody Cox on that one, because it just looked like Dover was going to have great field position. So, yeah, a couple miscues by one by the Dover offense, and here one by their special teams. So let's put New Philly in a good chance defensively.
So Will McEwen on the bench on the far side with ice on the left ankle, and that doesn't look like he's going to be back in anytime soon.
Yeah, that's just a big, big loss for New Philadelphia.
Well, sometimes that can spur your team on to do great things, though. When you lose a key player like that, the other kids step up. So far, they have. 1st down and 10 for the Tornadoes. Mammarella stays in at quarterback. Brandon Murtaugh stays on his feet. And we have not seen him much in the backfield. A couple of times this season. But normally the nose guard defensively, and he'll get a big carry for about 8 yards.
Since the first series, you know, Dover's done a really nice job picking up yardage on 1st down.
2nd down and 2 as we wind into the final minute of the 1st quarter. Mammarella has to pick it up, then tries to push forward to get back to the line of scrimmage, and may have done that. Just a little misplay on the snap.
Yeah, it looked like the snap was just a little bit to Marcus's right, and he was trying to look downfield to do something and kind of bobbled the ball, but he did do a nice job holding on to it and get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, I'd say that really you have to almost look at the momentum. Unbelievably going to the Quakers here. They've done a good job. They've bent, but they haven't broken, and they haven't allowed Dover to score. Straight ahead, Mammarella, and he's going to be close, but he's going to be short by about a yard to a yard and a half.
Yeah, I think right here now, I don't think Coach F's going to take a chance. I think he'll want to punt the ball away. But again, you know, what do we know?
Well, he hasn't shown any indication as what he wants to do yet, but we are at the end of the 1st quarter. No score between Dover and New Philadelphia from Prater Stadium. We'll come back with 2nd quarter action in a moment. Stay with us right here on Big Time Sports. Ready to go with 2nd quarter action. The Tornadoes quickly to the line on 4th down and 1, and they're going to draw New Philadelphia off, and that will give them the 1st down.
Well, right there was the key for them. They just jumped right out there and went, and Marcus went on a hard count right there, and I think Mike Anderson for the Quakers jumped offside, so that was an easy 1st down for him to keep the drive alive.
So that is a big play. You want to write that one down, and that gives the Tornadoes a 1st down and 10. You've got Drapshow and Zahner wide to the right side. To the left, you've got Murphy and Maz. Johnson the setback with Mammarella out of the shotgun. Mammarella, a little slip screen to Zahner's got some blocking, has some running room, and a nice gain down to about the 32-yard line.
Well, there again, since the first series on 1st down, you know, Dover's picked up 8 and 9 yards on their last 3 1st down attempts. So that's a big thing when you got 2nd and 1, you know, for their offense.
They're going to bring the sticks down to check it out. And that'll give us time to tell you about Miller & Miller Insurance, founded in 1946. It's located at 599 Monroe Street, across from the YMCA in Dover. Miller & Miller's primary objective is to establish a partnership between their customer, the insurance company, and their agency. They strive to provide a sound insurance program that is both responsive and cost-effective. It's opportunities like their extended business hours on Mondays and Thursdays until 6 p.m. that sets their service apart. Call Miller & Miller at 330-364-6641 to have an insurance specialist review your current program. So as we kind of reset to second down and short, what we do know, Tornadoes are in. They will host a playoff game next week. The Quakers really need a win to get in, or if they lose, they need a lot of help.
They need a lot of help if they lose, because I know, like you were alluding to early, you know, the season records of the people that they've played, you know, have not really helped them on second level points a whole lot. And a lot of times when you're down to, you know, hundreds and tenths of points, those second level points are big keys.
So no score here in the second quarter. Mammarella out of the shotgun. The handoff to Johnson. I think he tripped over Mammarella's foot the way it looked, or got caught in a divot out there about the 34-yard line, fell forward. And might have actually lost just a little bit.
Yeah, I think he tripped over something right there, because he had a good head of steam as he was going into that line.
So it'll be third down and short. Out of the shotgun, Mammarella takes the snap, hands off to Johnson. First down and more to the 20, down to the 15, and finally stopped at the 14-yard line by Trenton Bird. So a big run there by the Dover Tornadoes, as Keith Johnson able to shred the Quaker defense that time. Tornadoes have really moved the ball offensively. They don't have any points on the board at this point. Mammarella is going to take it himself this time, dives forward. Got some positive yardage, but not much there. And that will bring up second down at about 8. Mike Anderson making the tackle for the New Philadelphia Quakers. Coming up at halftime, we'll have the Big Jim's Burgers and More halftime report. We'll also have the Lavender Bridal Band show. So that's all coming up. Scott Robinson and Chuck Rest with you from the Brick House, Crater Stadium in Dover. As Dover and New Philadelphia meeting for the 106th time. Mammarella's pass caught. And not much there, as Drapshow got a few yards. And it's going to be third down and a couple.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 5. Nice job defensively right there by the Quakers to have two guys on that stop pattern. So, you know, big key third down here for the Quakers. They hold here. I would certainly think that Coach Iff will come out and try to put 3 on the board this time. So, you know, this is probably the biggest key third down we've had.
Johnson in the backfield with Mammarella on third down. Tornadoes can get a first down without scoring. Mammarella's not going to get to the first down, I don't think. It really depends on the spot,
exactly.
But I think he got to the 5.
Awful close. It looks like he's going to be a little bit short the way their officials are setting it. I think he's going to be about a yard short on that, so it'll be 4th down here.
They went the first time. Will they go the second time? Looks like they will.
Well, it looks like they're not going to change up here at all.
They're trying to establish an attitude, and that's what they're trying to do here on 4th down.
Yeah, I think with them gone right now, that's the thing they're looking at right now. We're going to give you an attitude right here of, you know, showing you that we are better than you are.
Well, they got them to jump off sides on a hard count the last time. Johnson all the way in, touchdown Dover.
That was just nice up front blocking by the Tornadoes on that one. That just, you know, basically nobody touched Johnson until he was on the goal line. So there again, I think that was one of those things, me against you, and I'm going to win for the Tornado offensive line.
So Zach Rafter will come on to kick the extra point.
You know, it's kind of odd here. You know, as much as Dover is a passing team, you know, both times that they've been down, you know, taking the ball, which they've moved quite a bit, you know, tonight offensively, they've done it on the ground instead of in the air.
So Rafter with the extra point attempt. Kick is up, and that kick is good. 7-0. The Dover Tornadoes on top here with 8:53 to go in the second quarter. So New Philadelphia's got some ground to make up.
Well, like we said, you know, so far Dover's offense has pretty much gone down the field twice on the Quakers, where one time they were able to shut them down. The second time here they gave up a touchdown. But, you know, they're going to have to generate some offense here, you know, coming out pretty quick, or, you know, all that does is give your defense more confidence on the Tornado side.
Well, the one thing that the Quakers going to find it hard to overcome is if Will McEwen cannot come back into the game. The ankle taped up with the ice on it. I'm not so sure that that is going to happen here in this one, unless they can get him some treatment at halftime. But that's not something that you recover that quickly.
No, you don't. And that's one of those things too. You don't know where that ankle's sprained. If it's a high ankle sprain, something like that, you know, that's just you know, something that you just can't tape up and win. So yeah, that's a huge loss for the Quakers if they can't get him back on the field.
Lauver and Garbrandt back deep for the Quakers. As Rafter's kick will go to Garbrandt at the 10-yard line, out to the 15, the 20. Slips and is tackled at about the 23-yard line.
Well, this is about the best field position the Quakers have had since their first series, so let's see if they can do something offensively with this.
Quakers have it first down and 10 at their own 23-yard line. I will say the Tornadoes have taken some chances. They didn't get it the first time when they were inside of the Quaker 5-yard line, but the second time they go for it, and they powered the football in.
Yes, they have. That big play on that one was when Philly jumped off sides on the 4th and 1. It gave him some new life.
Out of the I formation, Cox looks across the middle of the field, nearly intercepted by Drapshow at the 45-yard line. Pass was intended for Witter, and he was open.
He was wide open, and as you see, as he made his cut to come across the middle, he fell down. So that was just, you know, that could have been disaster right there if Dover had got that interception.
It almost looks like the Tornadoes just try to keep everything in front of them.
Yeah, that's what they do. You know, they just play down by down. They don't try to make anything spectacular on that. But you can see right now that. You know, I think New Philly's going to have to come back around and come up with some offense here pretty quick.
Second down and 10. Cox looks at the option. And still on his feet, I think, is Garbrandt over there that out across the 27, maybe 28-yard line.
Well, that's a nice job. That's the way you get outside on that. You know, run a little bit of option, which they have run quite a bit this year. So that's something that they're going to have to look at. It's just going to be tough, I think, to run in between the tackles on the Tornadoes. So you're going to have to come up with some things, and you're going to have to make some plays, you know, I think through the air on this one.
Barrett and Denham come wide to the left side. Bird split out to the right. On third down and 6, Cox looks quickly across the middle, and nothing is there. It'll be fourth down, and the Quaker offense again has stalled and really has not made a lot of progress tonight.
It hit kind of Barron in the hands, and he kind of reached out there for it and couldn't quite hang on to it, and it got tackled right as the ball hit him. So again, you know, New Philly's going to have to come up with some offense here, because we just keep giving, you know, Dover the ball in good field position. They haven't really, when we look at it and said they drive, you know, they're only driving 50, 55 yards to get in a position
Cox
to score.
Will punt again. Another kick that Maz will field back at his 30-yard line. They set up the return to the right side. They get a couple of blocks. A lot of white shirts there, and I'm not sure there's anything good that's going to happen there.
There's going to be a flag right there.
That is absolutely coming back, so there's no sense for everybody to get excited about it.
Nope.
As that's going to come absolutely back. That had disaster written all over it.
Did. I think we had. I'd like to see that again, because I think the same player got 2 clips on that one. So that's definitely coming back.
You can see they had the set return to the right. And as we take another look at it, Chuck, take it away.
Well, we're just looking, you know, they're going to set that up, and he's coming all the way back across the field where he started out. And he even gave up a little ground right here to get around Zuckel, and, you know, looked like the wall was starting to set up. I don't think we'll be able to see it, but there's going to come a clip right there, I think was the first one. And like I said, there might have even been 2 on that one, so wasn't much wasn't much doubt about that one. That was coming back early. So now we're going to have to see Dover here march the ball about 80 yards here if they want to score on this one, Scott. So this has been their worst field position and Philly's best defensive field position.
7:33 to go here in the second quarter. Scott Robinson and Chuck Rest with you from Crater Stadium in Dover. And the Tornadoes up 7-0 on the Dover Dental Group scoreboard. It's been a good game, but I'd have to say Dover's offense is pretty much dominated at this point.
I think I'd have to say you're pretty correct on that one, because it just seems like they've moved the ball up and down the field. So
Tornadoes going to take a timeout. They have confusion. As we've seen a lot of that in this game. You'd think week 10 and wouldn't see quite that miscommunication at this point. Hey, for all your construction needs, you should go to Beatty'sBuilders.com, where you'll find all the necessary construction aspects for home improvements. Beatty's Builders specializes in post-frame stud wall buildings, home additions remodeling, and home building. Beatty's Builders is located at 1219 West High Avenue in New Philadelphia. If you have any questions or you're thinking of any home improvements in the future, feel free to give them a call at 330-339-2333 to set up a 1-hour consultation. That's Beatty's Builders, and that's at 330-339-2333 or Beatty'sBuilders.com.
067254. Once again, winning Eagle number 067254.
So the Dover Tornadoes will take it over, first down and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Mammarella takes it himself, 25, 30, 35-yard line. And the Tornadoes have traditionally been a passing offense, a spread offense, but they've really morphed it into an attack that they can use the run a lot more this season.
That's what we've noticed. You know, they did with putting Marcus back there. We saw him early in the season, and, you know, we saw him a couple games. The first one against Ashland, it seemed like they were about 50-50 in that football game, and it seemed like as the season wore on, you know, like you said, they're becoming more of a running team than they are a passing team.
First down and 10 for the Tornadoes. Mammarella looks to pass. Has a lot of running room to the left side. He's just got to get to the corner. Mike Anderson's chasing at the 40. Out to the 46 or 44-yard line before Zach Denham makes the tackle.
Well, I'm not quite sure if he was going to throw that, you know, to start with, or he wanted to throw the little slip screen he's got over here, and it was covered. So, you know, that's what he does and does it well, is he'll just take off running with the football.
He is surprisingly agile. He only needs 115 yards to make it 1,000 for the season. Not your prototypical quarterback.
No, he isn't.
But he is, I have to say, he has surprised a lot of us with his ability, and he's done a great job. The handoff to Keith Johnson. It's a first down.
Well, you know, we haven't said much about it tonight, but, you know, this Dover offensive line right now is starting to just move people around, and you know, they're pretty good size offensive line. So, you know, they get on you. They don't let up.
So the first down and 10 for the Tornadoes. They're at their own 48-yard line. And New Philadelphia's defense has made a couple of plays, but not nearly as many as they need to make. Drapcho in motion. Mammarella rolling to his right, in trouble. The jump pass is just a little bit overthrown, and Mammarella took a shot. Yeah, Zach Denham.
He did. Denham was coming off the corner, and Mammarella saw it and knew he had to get rid of it, so he jumped up in the air to try to make the throw, and Denham put that shoulder pad right in his rib cage on that one. But smart, just smart play by Marcus on that one.
Second down and 10. Johnson in the backfield with Mammarella. Clock stop, 5:58 to go, second quarter. Coming up at the halftime, the Big Jim's Burgers and More halftime report, and the Lavender Bridal Band show. Memorell, a little slip screen to Zahner. He's got some blockers out in front, but that never really materialized.
Just
very
kind of
well.
a little bit of a slow developing play. I think Marcus wanted to throw it a little bit quicker and wasn't able to do that because he saw a Quaker defender right there, so he kind of pumped a little bit and threw it back to him, and it just was a little bit slow developing.
So it is 3rd down and 5 at the Quaker 47-yard line. Tornadoes would love to run some time off the clock here and put another score on the board. Mammarella looks at the quarterback draw. He's going to have the first down. Plenty of running room. Down to the 30-yard line before Trent Bird able to bring him down.
Well, just another job, nice job by that offensive line to come up and show pass blocking, and then he comes out and runs a quarterback draw off of that as the Quaker linebackers are trying to get back in pass protection or in pass defense, and just gave him enough room to slip out through there and pick up a nice gain on first down.
Our good friends at the Times Reporter mentioned the little side bet between Marcus Mammarella and Trent Bird, that they play Legion ball together in the summer, and the winner of this game gets to wear number 7 for the baseball season.
That's going to be a that's just something kind of neat to do, and not even in the sport of football, they're still looking at just being good friends on and off the field. So that's just a.
So Zach Denham is injured, and not sure if he's got the flu, got hit in the stomach, but it's not a pretty sight.
No, it isn't. I know that, and I don't know about Dover, but being over at New Philly, I know that, not only did the flu bug catch a lot of the kids in school, it's got onto the football team a little bit too. So, it's just one of those things. But out there, you don't know. He might have got hit and kind of shaking him up a little bit also.
So 1st down and 10 for the Dover Tornadoes at the New Philadelphia 30-yard line. The Tornadoes have tried to mix up the pass on the first series. They had Derek Swinterman that started at quarterback, and since that time it's been all Marcus Mammarella. What a great night for football, though. If you would have told me week 10 was going to be like this.
Wearing short sleeves and
and we got a penalty flag, and I'm not sure
what we got on this one. I don't know if we've got motion or if we got up. Looks like motion on Tornadoes.
That's really the first miscue other than the penalty on the punt return for the Tornadoes.
Right. This would be a big key here, Scott, too. With 4, they're taking quite a bit of time off the clock here in the second quarter, just in 2 drives, I think. So if they get down there and can put one on the board here before halftime, that's going to be huge. Again, we can't say it enough without McEwen being able to play. They're holding up defensively okay. Just offensively, I think they're just a step behind.
So it'll be 1st down and 15 for the Tornadoes. They're really in no hurry as they are burning a lot of clock. Mammarella steps through some traffic, looks across the middle. Zahner's got it at the 20. And Bird is there along with Dansby to make the tackle.
Nice job right there by Mammarella to step up in the pocket and just hesitate long enough to let Zahner get open, and he just sit in the middle of the field in the opening and was able to catch that ball and go for a first down.
So 1st and 10 Tornadoes at the New Philadelphia 19-yard line. And Mammarella making a lot of motions, so his wide receivers, we think, know what he wants them to do. A lot of running room, but he's going to throw across the middle. It's there. Touchdown, Dover. Colton Zahner from Marcus Mammarella.
Oh, on that one right there, you can see that Barron had him trailing on it, and I think Burt just didn't get over quick enough from a free safety spot to be able to knock that one down. And Mammarella just puts it right on the money on that one. So
take another look at it.
You can just see it was just a little bit of a skinny post pattern by Zahner, and he was just able to to shield his body off of Barrett and be able to pick that one out of the air.
So Rafter on to try the extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 14-0 Dover.
Now the question is, Scott, you're down 14-0. How important it is to get some points on the board here before halftime for the Quakers. As we can look at it again, you know, at halftime, Philly has to come out and kick the ball off, and Dover's going to get it. So, you know, I would think here with 3 minutes and 52 seconds that, you know, Philly's going to have to come up with some offense some way, somehow.
Well, the biggest thing you got to worry about now is the kids going, uh-oh, here we go again.
Yeah, that could be, you know, like you said, what it's out of the last 15 years, I think, you know, it's been all Dover, so it's going to be a situation. You don't want to go in there with, I guess, you know, you call them those bug eyes at halftime when you're looking at your kids saying, oh boy, what are we going to do now?
Well, you've got to think that the 2 games last year resulted in a 75-7 outcome when you combine the scores.
Yep.
That is not good, and that's they've got to be thinking about that maybe just a little bit.
And you got to know, you know, that they had a lot of kids on New Philly's team that played in that football game. In both of those games, you have a lot of kids that come back from Dover this year that are seniors that played in that game too. So, you know, that's all in the minds, whether you think it may be or not.
You don't think Dover would come out with any type of trick play here, do you?
No.
Well, they pooched it down there. Big hit, and the Quakers will have the football at about the 32-33 yard line. They did not kick it deep. So Andrew Bates makes the hard hit. Stop for the Tornadoes. It's 1st and 10 for the Quakers at their own 33.
Well, good field position here again for the Quakers. Let's just see if they could do something with the football on offense.
Quakers have had Kyle Witter open a couple of times. Cody Cox has been uncharacteristically off his game just a little bit. Barrett in motion to the right side. They like to run that pass out to him, and that is incomplete.
There, you just said it again. You know, that wasn't a hard throw for Cody to make, and I don't know if right now he's just pressing a little bit too much to, you know, try to make a play to get the offense sparked.
Well, you know, could it be a mindset of, uh-oh, Will McEwen's out. I've got to do something. I've got to play bigger than I've had to play all season.
And that's a good possibility, you know. So there really wasn't much. Barrett goes out on in motion on it, and he was wide open out there, and Cody just kind of let him just a little too much.
2nd down and 10. In motion again is Barrett. They like to send him on deep pattern at times too. Cox will take it himself and get positive yardage out to the 38 yard line for gain of about 5. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Well, nice positive yardage that time by Cody as they come back with the quarterback draw to the opposite side of the motion. So, you know, puts him in a good situation to pick up a 1st down here.
Tornadoes have done a pretty good job neutralizing the line of scrimmage. There hasn't been much for the Quakers when it comes time to run the football. Barrett in motion, leaving Cooper Hill the lone setback. Cox rolling to his right, looking to pass, and he is going to be brought down. Penalty flag.
We're going to have a penalty flag because I think we had a face mask. I think that might have, you know, just about de-headed Cox on that one. But that's a big play right there, you know, for the New Philly Quakers to pick up a 1st down right here. And, you know, again, rolling to his right and looking to throw the football, but nothing really open. And like you said, you know, so far defense, Dover's defensive line, you know, has pretty much controlled the line of scrimmage. And like you said, with McEwen out, you don't know, you know, how much you want to use Garabrandt back there. Now you see in this situation, Barrett's back at tailback. So I think that's going to, you know, kind of limit New Philly's offense. And like you said, I think Cox feels that, you know, pressure may be on him a little bit right now to make some plays.
Quakers go with 2 tight ends in the I formation. In motion is Witter to the left side. Quick pitch to Garabrandt, and Andrew Bates is there to clean it up.
Oh, right there. That was just looked like Cooper Hill was leading around it from his fullback spot and just kind of Garabrandt just didn't get quite out far enough before Cooper let him let his man go on that one, and Bates comes in and just makes a nice play.
2nd down and 10. Denham is back in the game. He is wide to the right. Bird and Barrett to the lower part of the screen. And Cox dropping straight back. Ball is deflected, penalty flag down, and I'm going to guess that's going to be a holding
I think
call.
it was a hold. Not quite sure who it was coming off the corner on that one and had him turned, and I think he just had to grab a hold of him to keep him from hitting Cody Cox.
So that will back up the Quakers, and that will not make it any easier. Hey, affordable elegance at its best. Visit Fenton's Festival of Lights and discover the unique selection of affordable lighting for your home. Known for their quality and style, you can visit Fenton's Festival of Lights on Ray Avenue Northwest in New Philadelphia. At Fenton's Festival of Lights, you'll see for yourself a world of style to fit your home.
If you're holding that winning ticket number, please come to the east end of the press box closest to the scoreboard to claim your winnings. Today's 50-50 is worth $5,511.
Second down and 29 for the Quakers. Little slip screen inside. Bird has it, and he'll gain a few yards. Out about the 39-yard line.
Yeah, that's about the best pass it seems like that Cody's thrown all night right there.
Pick up a 5, 3rd down and 24.
Brings up 3rd and 24 for the Quakers.
Minute 25 to go here in the half. Coming up at halftime, the Big Jim's Burgers and More halftime report. And we'll also have the Lavender Bridal Band show. Quakers split Witter, the tight end, a little bit out to the right side. Cox looks to throw, got a man out there. Bird's got it, and he is going to be close to the first down, might have it at the 36-yard line.
Yeah, it's going to be real close on that one. That's nice job, but it's a little out and up by Trent Bird on that one, and Cody finally put that one right on the money for him. Trent made a nice catch. It does look like they're going to have a first down on that. That's going to be a big play with a minute to go in the half.
Boy, on 3rd and 24, how do you give up that much yardage?
Well, you know, you're in one of those situations, I guess, that, like you said a little bit ago, you know, keep the ball in front of you. And I think they were playing a little prevent defense, and that was just a nice throw and catch by Bird and Cox.
Just relaxed a little too much. 1st down and 10 at the Dover 36-yard line. The best opportunity here for the Quakers in the first half. Lateral pass to Witter. And Witter is taken down by a number of tornadoes, loses his helmet.
I'll tell you what, he was popped pretty good on that one, but hang on to the football and pick up about 5 yards.
So the Quakers will take a timeout with 55 seconds to go. And Witter might have been shaken up a little bit on that hit, too.
I think he was. He got popped pretty good on that. I think you see Coach Dennison coming out with a timeout right here, just, you know, not only to give Witter a little bit of a break, but I think, you know, with 55 seconds to go, you're in a situation you got to call 2 or 3 plays maybe here in a row to just make sure you don't take too much time off the clock.
Don't forget about Gary's Italian Market and Deli in Dover on Tuscarawas Avenue. You can stop in, get the big time sports special all week long. The offer is good now through next Friday. So you want to stop in, check it out. Sandwiches, salads, lunch specials. They've got it all there at Gary's Italian Market and Deli on Tuscarawas Avenue in Dover.
Well, that leaves New Philly now with 1 timeout remaining here in the second quarter, and you know, so I'm sure Coach Dennison went in and called a couple plays.
2nd down and 5 from the Dover 31-yard line. Tornadoes with 3 wideouts. They look to go long. Looks like there's some pretty good coverage there. Maz is there. There's a scramble for the football. Who's got it?
It doesn't look like anybody does. He was out of bounds on it when they had it. Looked like Maz took it away from him, but by the time he came down, he was out of bounds. So, you know, nice coverage right there by by Dover's defense.
Trent Bird, the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd down and 5. And I don't think there's any doubt here. You're going to go twice here.
Yeah, definitely 2 down territory right here. Pick up a 1st down, incomplete pass. They can take their time right here a little bit, get their play set. They need a 1st down before they got to go deep on it.
Vallejo wide to the right side. Cox is going to take it himself, and he is going to be short. It'll be 4th down.
Going to have to use a timeout here. I'm afraid that he might want to use that timeout to get this 4th down. It doesn't look like he is, so he's going after it right now.
So the Quakers with it, 4th down and 3. Good snap. Cox looks to the outside. Ball's batted down by Christian Ift, and Dover will take it over.
Big play right there by Ift as he come in underneath Witter on that one and just knocked the ball down. So that's
you know what? That's a huge play in this game.
That was a big play. You're right, because that way he had enough for the 1st down if he'd have made the catch. If Ift couldn't have made the tackle, Witter had another 5 or 10 yards to go before a Dover player could get to him. So that was just a huge play by Christian Ift on that defensive series.
And that has got to be deflating for the Quakers. So 18 seconds to go. I can't imagine Dover's going to try anything too fancy here.
Well, you know, they're coming out in their spread offense. You don't know if
that's
maybe,
true.
you know, big play right there. Take one big shot down the field and really put the dagger in.
Quakers are only going to, looks like they might rush 3, maybe blitz. Mammarella's going to take it himself. Last thing you want to get, though, is someone hurt right at the end of this half when they're up 14
I think
to
they're
nothing
going to let
already.
this go. They're going in at halftime with the 2-score lead.
They'll be happy with that. So we are at halftime with the Dover Tornadoes leading the New Philadelphia Quakers in the 106th meeting of this ball game. Dover on top 14 to nothing at Crater Stadium. We'll come back with all of our halftime activities in a moment. Stay with us right here on Big Time Sports. It's time now for the halftime report brought to you by Big Jim's Burgers and More. As you see, the Dover Tornadoes leading the New Philadelphia Quakers 14 to nothing. The scoring all came in the 2nd quarter. A 6-yard run by Keith Johnson for Dover. Zach Rafter added the extra point. That was at the 8:53 mark. Then with 3:52 to go, it was a 19-yard pass play from Marcus Mammarella to Colton Zahner. Rafter added the extra point, and we are at 14 to nothing. So let's take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Big Jim's Burgers and More.
Well, you can see here one of the big keys was we talked about in the ball game was Dover's offensive and defensive lines, and so far in the first half they've controlled it. New Philly had 10 attempts on offense rushing the football for 29 yards, and they were 3 of 11 passing for only 34 yards, so they have a total of 63 yards, which you got to give credit to Dover's defense for that. Dover, on the other hand, 21 attempts rushing, 128 yards, a lot of big 1st down plays, gaining of 7 and 8 yards a crack, 6 of 11 passing the ball for 49 yards, which they just kind of threw into situations where you know, to keep the offense clicking on throwing the football, and they had a total of 177 yards. Neither team had either turnover. I think, Scott, with Will McEwen gone out, it probably hurt New Philly's offense to get them in sync a little bit, but again, Dover's controlling the football.
Well, when you look at turnovers, New Philadelphia is like plus 20 on the season. They haven't been able to create anything at this point.
Exactly, so that's a big key.
And that is the Big Jim's Burgers and More halftime report. We appreciate Big Jim being with us all season, and I'm sure he'll be with us as we cover playoff football in the coming weeks. The New Philadelphia Quaker Marching Band is on the field, so it is now time for the Lavender Bridal Band Show. We're going to show you a couple of numbers from the New Philadelphia Quaker Marching Band, and then we'll have the Dover Tornado Marching Band to wrap up halftime, and before you know it, we'll be back with the 3rd quarter kickoff. So let's go down to the field and take a listen to the New Philadelphia Quaker Marching Band.
representatives with another Mangio tune, El Gato Twiste. And then we feature our bluegrass section in a reprise of A Lonely Bull. The Marching Quaker Band is under the direction of Mr. Chuck Free, with assistance from Daphne Chuck, Nick McCoy, Erica Yarnell, Kyle Matavy, and Leanna Moss. On behalf of the students, staff, and boosters of the Marching Quaker Band, I thank you all for your kind attention this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, under the direction of Steve Stroke, Joe Wetzel, Mike Carrick, with Major Advisor Julie Patch, and Major Red Laura Welpley, and led on the field by Drum Major Andrew Lose, we proudly present the 2009 edition of the Dover High School Marching Tornadoes. The Marching Tornadoes opens tonight's show with his 1976 hit by the Spinners. This is Rubber Band Man. and found this hit from 1983, which was arranged for the Dover Band by former Dover Band director Robert Lonnie. Enjoy a little quiet riot as we feature our talented majorettes to Come On and Feel the Noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take a moment from our halftime show to recognize and thank a good friend of both of our communities, the voice of the Marching Tornadoes, Mr. Gary Petricola. To help me, may I introduce to you the Mayor of Dover, the Honorable Rick Homerkhausen.
Thank you. I'd like to read a proclamation from the office of the mayor. Whereas Gary Petricola has served as the voice of the Marching Tornadoes, which include football games, band shows, professional sporting events, and concerts spanning 5 decades. Whereas, as a businessman, he is an active advocate of music education by using his resources at WJER Radio to support and promote all the school music programs in the Tuscarawas Valley. And whereas Gary supports and participates in community events such as the Dominic Greco Band concerts, the Tuscarawas County Band Preview, Tuscarawas County Fair, Christmas parades, Halloween parades, Swiss Festival, Dover Canal Days, and New Philadelphia's First Town Days. Whereas the Dover High School Band Program and the Office of the Mayor, on behalf of the City of Dover, offer our sincere gratitude and appreciation for Gary's untiring commitment and contributions to us all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Richard P. Homerkhausen, Mayor of the City of Dover, Ohio, do hereby proclaim October 30th, 2009 as Gary Petricola Appreciation and Recognition Day. And I urge all Dover residents to wholeheartedly participate in the observance 2009. Gary Petricola, this is your day.
Thank you all. Steve, I need to get to work. Ladies and gentlemen, we got an announcement. Stay standing. You're going to love this. We're going to do this big band here ahead by this great band. We're going to feature our mighty percussion section and our 16 bass drums to sing, sing, sing.
Band Show. A great show by both the New Philadelphia Marching Quakers and the Dover Marching Tornadoes. Stop in and see Karen Stokey and her staff at Lavender Bridal in downtown Dover, or you can visit them at www.lavenderbridalsalon.com or www.lavenderprom.com. We appreciate Karen's help with the band show here at halftime. We'll come back with the start of the third quarter in a moment. Stay with us here on Big Time Sports. Ready to go with third quarter action from Crater Stadium in Dover as the Tornadoes leading the New Philadelphia Quakers 14-0. Scott Robinson and Chuck Rest with you. Jay Yonders helping us out with stats as we has all season, and we appreciate that. The Dover Tornadoes will receive the kickoff from Joey Clark. And Chuck, what's New Philadelphia going to have to do to get back in this game?
Well, the first thing they're going to have to do is come out here and stop Dover right off the bat. You know, don't give them any first downs, make them punt right, right now after a 3 and out, and then they got to get something moving on offense. Just they tried there a little bit the second half, at the end of the half, but just, got it down to fourth down, couldn't make it.
Dropshow has it, still on his feet, spins to the outside at the 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, cuts it back inside, still on his feet at the 20, and knocked down. A great effort by Ian Dropshow, and that was all individual effort.
Yes, that was. Dropshow got hit about the 25-yard line and thought they had him wrapped up, and everybody kind of just took a little back step, and he spun out of it.
Let's take a look
right
at
down
it.
The sidelines. You can see right there, he was just about stopped, made a nice spin move right there. Another hit, and then just turned it up the sidelines, and you can see right there, picked up another about 45 yards right gone down New Philly sideline. So great field position to start for the Tornadoes here in the second half. New Philly's going to have to button up those chin straps and keep them out of the end zone.
So Marcus Mammarella at the quarterback spot, Keith Johnson in the backfield. Johnson will get the hand, or rather it's Murtaugh that will get the handoff. down to the 25-yard line. Tell you what, give the officiating crew a hand on that play because they didn't blow the whistle when it looked like he might have been down.
Yep, and it did look like he was stopped, just didn't quite get him all wrapped up, and the officials just held their whistles, and he was able to spin out of it and take it down the sideline.
Yeah,
so,
that would have easily been a situation where they could have blown that play dead by mistake.
Very much so, because you actually thought you had him down.
2nd down and 8 after the gain of 2. Mammarella out of the shotgun with Murtaugh, backing him up in the backfield. They'll lob it out to Drapcho. He's going to get a block, has some running room at the 20. Spin move again down to the 15-yard line, and that'll be another 1st down.
Drapcho's got that spin move down on these
yeah, but boy,
last 2 times he's handled
just wait for that ball to fly out of there, though, if he gets hit on one of those spin moves.
Well,
but
there's no question about it, but he's holding on for it. Nice block right there for him on the screen, and nice quick 1st down pickup for the Tornadoes.
Boy, this is not what Matt Dennison wanted to see coming out of the locker room.
No, this is something here. You got to build your kids up at halftime and tell them, hey, we're only 2 scores down. Come out and hold them, and get us right back in this ball game. And then, of course, Dover takes it right at him.
Mammarella's going to take it himself straight ahead. Of course, Dover, as we mentioned, in the playoffs and will host a game here at Crater Stadium next Friday, we believe. And the New Philadelphia Quakers need a win in this game, probably, to make the playoffs.
Correct. They even at 9-1, they could, they'll be sitting up there maybe at 4th, 5th, or 6th. But with the loss there, I don't think their chances are going to be very good to be in week 11.
So the Tornadoes with it, 2nd down and 8 at the Quaker 13-yard line. The handoff to Maz around the right side to the 5. Dives to the corner and just short. Ricky Maz turned on the Jets and took it right down to point-blank range.
Well, that's going to put the Tornadoes, about the 1-yard line right there with 1st and goal. So Maz just did a nice job picking up 3 or 4 extra yards when he looked like he could run out of bounds.
Tornadoes going to hurry it up. They're going to spread the field, leave Mammarella as the lone back to take the snap. He'll take it himself, pushes forward, and no signal from the officials as of yet. Looks like he's going to be just a little short.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be about a half-yard short on that one.
Well, certainly the Tornado program owes Mammarella a touchdown here in the Dover-Philly game.
I would certainly think so. Yeah, I couldn't see why not. They might not put him, but now you got Johnson in the backfield with him. So
that's actually, I believe, Murtaugh.
Or Murtaugh, I'm sorry. So we'll
they've alternated them.
Here.
2nd down and goal. Mammarella the handoff to Murtaugh, and no signal yet. Now they say touchdown.
Yeah, he kind of got twisted around right there, but I think he had the ball across the goal line before New Philly shoved him back out. So, quick 6 by the Tornadoes here to open up the 3rd quarter.
And really, it has been a dominating performance by the Tornadoes so far.
So far that, you saw at halftime, the stats at halftime, they were, New Philly coming in with about 60 yards and Dover coming in with 177, which is basically Pat and Dover offense for a half.
Rafter with the kick, and that one is good. Not your typical end-over-end spinner.
No, it wasn't. It was just line drive right over there, but he had enough height on it to get it inside the upright. So that's all that counts. So again, Dover's got 21 on the board right now. So New Philly's going to have to counter here real quick to get back in this football game. Yeah, it just seems like Scott, too, a lot of time, big plays just really turn things around real quick in this football game. And, that kickoff return right there that set Dover up for a quick score here in the 3rd quarter really puts the Quakers with their backs against the wall.
Yeah, it really does. Certainly they were up against it anyway, and now it's even worse because they're down 21-0. Will McEwen, their best offensive player, does not appear that he's going to come back and play. And Cody Cox has not had the night he's typically had throughout the season. He has had 8 incompletions. He only had 20 incompletions all season.
Yeah, that's just not typical for Cody to do. I think offensively to start out with, in the first quarter he missed a couple receivers, and then when Will went out, he had, like we said, we felt he probably had to put it on his shoulders and didn't quite get it done.
Rafter's going to let it fly. Garbrandt's going to pick it up back at his own 5-yard line. Adam Moss had him down. And the New Philadelphia Quakers are not going to have particularly great field position to start this drive.
No, they aren't. That's one of those things where you just got to hit that hole and just go full speed ahead and hang on. And I think Cody just took a couple, stutter steps right there, and that gave the special teams at Dover just a beat on him.
So the Quakers come out first down and 10, and honestly, I think this is a must drive for New Philly.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. They got to get something on the board, and like I said, they got to get it quick.
Cox is going to roll to the left side, and he takes a hit at the 20. For the Tornadoes, it was Ian Drapcho that came up to make the stop. It's second down and 7.
I've kind of tried to look on the sidelines over there at New Philly. I can't spot Will McEwen yet, even in or out of uniform, so I'm not sure. But like you said, I'm sure we're probably not going to see him this half.
That's going to be a big disappointment to his family. I'm sure really look forward to potentially seeing him in this game tonight, working all that time and then get hurt in the first quarter. And, what can you say about the young man? Rushed over 1,500 yards this season, 33 touchdowns. When you look at special teams and rushing and receiving, he's being looked at by a number of different schools. Just a good kid that I'm sure this is a tremendous disappointment.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. Knowing the kid the way I know him, he's just a super kid. And I'm sure, just quietly excited about playing in this football game and, put so many things in perspective and then come out and, like you said, in the first quarter, get banged up and not be able to come back in.
I think even to a certain extent, the competitiveness of the Tornadoes, they're disappointed he's not able to play. Cox across the middle. Witter is going to have it. He's going to have the first down at the 30-yard line.
Big first down right there. Nice pitch and catch right there by Cox and Witter. Witter went down after it and made the catch and was able to move the chains here for the Quakers.
Kyle Witter's been the leading receiver for the New Philadelphia Quakers, and he's been open a couple of times, just hasn't
early,
been able to connect.
I think he was open one time, he slipped, and the next time Cody just overthrew him a little bit. But, now since Cody settled down here a little bit, I think he'll probably be the go-to guy here to get the Quakers back in the football game.
Vallejo wide to the right side, and we've got the stoppage in play. Looks like the Quakers are going to take a timeout.
Well, something's gone here because I know that you noticed Coach Dennison's main wrinkle, I guess you'd look in this game, is taking Witter away from his tight end spot and making him more of an H-back type of guy that, can do a lot of things, motion him around a little bit. And I think, you start doing that and the kids aren't accustomed to that. There are a few mistakes made here and there, in the game. You're not lined up on the right side or they want to throw something one way and you're not there. So it's, it's one of those things. But like I said, I think Coach Dennison realizes how big of a series this is for the Quakers, and he wants to get the ball in the end zone.
Miller Insurance, founded in 1946, is located at 599 at Monroe Street, across from the YMCA in Dover. Miller & Miller's primary objective is to establish a partnership between their customer, the insurance company, and their agency. They strive to provide a sound insurance program that's both responsive and cost-effective. It's opportunities like their extended business hours on Mondays and Thursdays till 6 p.m. that sets their services apart. Call Miller & Miller at 330-364-6641 to have an insurance specialist review your current program. Cox looks to go long across the middle. Witter's there. Nobody there for the Tornadoes. Maz and
Marmarella brought him down there. Witter did a nice job on that one, catching the football and picking up an extra 5 or 6 yards with Maz hanging on to him. So that's something right there that, if you want to talk about it, that's a vintage New Philly play right there from Cox to Witter. So that's what they need. They need to get that ball in the end zone. It's a good drive for them. This is, basically they had a good drive right before halftime. They couldn't put any points on the board. Now they're coming back and moving the ball here in the second half.
First down and 10 for the Quakers. Witter in motion. Cox looks at the quarterback draw. Murtaugh's got him and takes him down. I'm not sure, but I think the Quakers agitate the Dover defense when they make those big plays.
Maybe that's it, huh? I don't know, but that, you know, I think they're ready for Cody to run the football right now, as they think that's probably their best offensive running play, is let the quarterback run it. And Dover sitting there ready for him every time now.
Loss of 3, second down and 13. There you get a good look at Will McEwen, and you got a feel for him. He's out of his uniform on the sideline on crutches. That's a lonely feeling, I am sure. Cox, plenty of running room. Bates had a bead on him and knocks him out of bounds. Thought he was going to knock him into tomorrow when he had him in his sights the first time.
Yeah, that was a nice job right there. He was patient enough to keep that Dover secondary drop it deep, and that gave him an opportunity, you know, to step up there and run the football and pick up about 5 yards. So that was a nice job by Cody that time. They're coming in here with a extra defensive back for the Tornadoes here on 3rd and about 5.
So on 3rd down, Cox under center. They hand off straight ahead. They're going to have the first down as Cooper Hill with the quick hitter.
Well, there you go. That's the first time Cooper Hill's run the football tonight. You see he picked up a nice first down and had those shoulders square to the line and was able to pick up about 10 yards on that. Yeah, you got to think McEwen's got some sort of a high ankle sprain, something like that, if he's going to be sitting over there on crutches. So, you know, that was one of those things you can see. He wasn't, you know, he tried to get up and walk and run off the field, but there was just no way to do that. So, best drive right now of New Philly, you know, getting it into the Tornado.
A 1st and 10 for the Quakers as Cox will run it down to the 10-yard line. And hey, Big Time Sports wants to add their congratulations to Gary Petricola of WJER Radio for being honored here at halftime, for being the voice of the Dover Music Department and really the voice of Tuscarawas County for a long time. So our congratulations to Gary for his commitment to the community, and well-deserved. A proclamation from the city of Dover presented to him, and we want to extend our congratulations. 2nd down and 7. Quakers need to get back in this game, and they need a score here. That's Bazzoli, the tight end, got near the pylon. He was taken out by Ricky Maz just short of the goal line.
Nice catch right there by Bazzoli. He kept the defender on his hip and was able to reach out there and snag that ball out of the air, and did a nice job after he caught it and almost got it down, putting that ball on the pylon. So best job right here by the Quakers. Just exactly what we said, Scott. This is what they needed to get back into this football game.
So 5:15 to go. See if Cox takes it himself. He'll hand it off in the backfield, and there's going to be a loss of a little bit as Murtaugh was there, Bates and Shaloski, and Cooper Hill.
Oh, he was lucky.
Lost just about a half a yard there.
It almost looked like he was lucky to get the handoff on there. It seemed like as soon as the ball was snapped, we had about 6 red jerseys in the Quaker backfield before Cody could hand the ball off to him. So that was a good job by Hill, just hanging on to the football. And like you said, they lost about a half a yard on that.
We haven't seen a turnover in this game so far. 2nd down and goal. Cox is going to take it himself, and he's got,
they're going to give it to him. So he must have had that ball over the goal line before he got pushed back. So Tornado faithful aren't very happy about that. But, you know, Cody might have been smart enough to just get up there and reach the ball across the goal line. So, again, as it may be, Quakers are on the board for the first time tonight. And, you know, just what we said they needed. They needed to take that ball down and put 6 points on the board, and that's exactly what they did.
Clark on to try the extra point. Cody Cox will hold. Ethan Zuckel the snap. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So the New Philadelphia Quakers have new life with 4:32 to go here, as they close the gap to 21-7 on the Dover Dental Group scoreboard.
Well, now as we talked about that big series, right to come out to start the second half, to go ahead and have the Quakers make a big stop, and they weren't able to do it. Dover took it down, but New Philly responded for the first time tonight with a touchdown. So I guess now we're going to have to look at it here as, hey, they're going to have to get a stop some way and somehow to get back in this football game, and it's going to have to be set with their defense.
Well, Dover's been pretty good at chewing up large blocks of time off the clock. And they're still up by 14. So Drapcho and Maz will drop back around their own 10-yard line. Clark will kick it away for the Quakers. Still a lot of time, a quarter and a half to go. And the Tornadoes really have been solid all season, but they've given up some big plays to the Quakers that I'm sure is a little bit of a concern to the Dover coaching staff. Line drive taken by Drapcho at the 15, out to the 20, 25, 30. Still on his feet at the 35, pushing hard across the 40, out to the 42-yard line.
Well, another good start for the Tornadoes right here. I think, you need to start kicking it away from Drapcho there, because he's picked up quite a bit of return yardage tonight. So, but there again, you're sitting on your 42-yard line, come up with a stop for New Philly, and get that ball back and get down and try to score by the end of the third quarter. You got yourself a ball game.
Murphy and Maz wide to the left side. Mahalm and Zahner wide to the right side. Zahner with a touchdown catch tonight. Mammarella will hand it off to Johnson. You kind of sense the Quakers a little more pep in the step here after they got the first score.
Well, that kind of helps right there a little bit. And, you got kids that play both ways, offensively and defensively. It's got a, big positive for them. So they, like I said, they just got to step up right now, button those helmets up and get a stop and have the Tornadoes have to punt.
So gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Tornadoes with it on their own 45-yard line. Scott Robinson and Chuck Rest bringing you this 106th meeting between the Quakers and the Tornadoes from Crater Stadium in Dover. Tornadoes have to hurry to get it off. Mammarella slips a couple of tackles and is going to be close, and I think he's got a first down.
He's got himself a first down on that one. Nice job there by Mammarella, just putting his head down and picking up that extra 2 or 3 yards.
And he is closing in on 1,000 yards rushing for the season. He had 80 at halftime, and he is pretty darn close. So the Tornadoes with a first down and 10 at the Quaker 46-yard line. New Philadelphia's got to do better than exchange scores right now with the Tornadoes.
There's just absolutely no way. They got to get a stop.
The handoff to Maz. Has got some blocking. Tripped up, ball's loose. And the Tornadoes fortunate to recover.
Yes, they were. That would have been a big turnover right there as they knocked the ball out of Maz's hands. But again, you had Zahner right there just able to jump on the football for him. And, not only what you're saying here about them, but, Dover's eating a lot of clock here by running the football.
So we get another look at it.
Well, it's just that little reverse. They ran down close to the goal line. Maz had it. Had a big opening right there. Somebody got their head in on it and can't see quite who that is.
Zahner got the save for the Tornadoes, the hero play. Mammarella gets it to Zahner. Zahner running with the 30, 25, pushing players down the field inside of the 15 to the 13-yard line. Trent Bird's there. Mike Anderson was there.
Zahner did a nice job right there on that play as he took that screen. You can see him. He had a couple guys out in front of him blocking, and he used his blockers great on that play right there. And then again, like you said, he just pushed his way for an extra 10 or 15 yards right down the field.
Gendurvan, Drapcho, and Cody Gordon. A couple of big blocks there.
This offensive line for Dover, they just do a great job, not only off the line of scrimmage, but down the field with picking up blocks.
Mammarella out of the shotgun. Keith Johnson in the backfield with him here on 1st and 10 from the 13. Johnson, the handoff. Inside the 10 down to the 9-yard line. Yards getting tougher, though, but he still gets 4.
Looked like Cooper Hill on the tackle on that one. Had him wrapped up at the legs. But, again, picking up 4 yards of crack isn't isn't going to help the Quakers a whole lot.
Minute 50 to go here in the third quarter. Dover leading it 21-7, and they're on the move in Quaker territory. Quaker defense just hasn't found an answer yet for the Tornadoes, who've a lot of times had a short field. Mammarella is going to take it himself down near the 5.
Marcus Mammarella on the carry.
And they'll unpile. He's drawn a lot of attention when he runs the football.
Yes, he does.
Along with Zach Denham on the tackle for the Quakers.
So it'll be 3rd down and 2. With the ball just outside the 5-yard line of the Quakers. Mammarella and Johnson in the backfield, and really Dover has passed sparingly. They've done most of it on the ground. The handoff to Johnson, left side, near the goal line, and stopped around the 1 for another 1st down, and it sets him up
Nice
in
job.
good position.
Nice job that time by Johnson. He was able to get to the line of scrimmage and then cut it back against the grain and pick up that extra 4 or 5 yards. And like you said, just kept him about 1.5 feet from the goal line.
So we're winding the 3rd quarter down, and the Tornadoes' 1st and goal at the Quaker 1. Out of the shotgun, Mammarella the snap. Mammarella is going to take it in from 1 yard out.
Well, like you said on that last series where you thought, you know, what Mammarella has done for this football program, it'd be nice for him to get a touchdown. Well, it was just game of series late on that, so walked into the end zone untouched on that one.
So Rafter will come in to try the extra point. And the Tornadoes back up by 3 scores.
Well, you said it. You know, there's just no way now with them being up by 2 scores to begin with that there's no way you're just going to be able to trade touchdowns with them.
The extra point kick is up good. And it is 28-7. The Dover Tornadoes leading the New Philadelphia Quakers. So they're going to wind down this 3rd quarter here shortly. A kickoff to come here from Dover. And the playoff bubble may be bursting here for the New Philadelphia Quakers.
Yeah, they're going to have to come up with something here really quick. And, you know, they had an opportunity right there to maybe pick up a turnover. As we, you know, this has been a great football game with, you know, not sloppy play. It's just been great, turnover free. And, you know, that was actually the first turnover that either team had tonight. And ended up not being a turnover as Dover was able to capitalize and recover the fumble. So New Philly's got to come up with something here pretty quick.
Looks like Dover is going to take a timeout. They weren't set here to kick off, so they're going to take a momentary timeout. Gives us a chance to tell you about Gary's Italian Market and Deli on Tuscarawas Avenue in Dover. Stop in and see the fine folks there. Get a sandwich. Tell them that you want the big time sports special. They'll have it ready for you. And that offer will be now through next Friday at the Gary's Italian Market and Deli on Tuscarawas Avenue in Dover. Stop in, say hi. Sandwiches, salads, a lot of lunch specials. A great place, so stop in and enjoy it at Gary's Italian Market and Deli on Tuscarawas Avenue in Dover. Also want to thank Miller & Miller Insurance and Bill McIlvain, Tornado standout. His family's had a long history with this game, so we appreciate their support of big-time sports as well.
You can hear a podcast of tonight's game on the internet.
34 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. 28-7, the Dover Tornadoes.
Around the world on the iHigh Broadcast Network.
And nice display here tonight by the Air Force. They had an OCC chopper out there in the back behind the stadium.
Yes, they did. I just saw him here just a minute ago as Dover was taking the football down the field. They're throwing T-shirts into the crowd. So, you know, I think it was one of these things. I believe this was one of the top 12 rivalries in the nation this week. And, you know, the Air Force really does a nice job. Gave a couple $500 scholarships away to Dover Flair and a New Philly player before the football game. So, you know, they really do take an interest in the young student athletes.
want to say to our cohorts from the Times Reporter, Hank Keithley and Roger Metzger, and they did a nice job on the section, their portion of it today, and they've done a nice job all season reporting on both Dover and New Philadelphia. They make great guests on Big Time Sports show as well. So straight ahead is Garbrandt, and a lot of attention's being paid to him. And he will bring it out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Also want to congratulate Dover Athletic Director Kevin Keffer. He's got the pink ribbons on the field tonight, breast cancer awareness, and certainly that's important. Affected a lot of people, and so congratulations to putting that reminder out there of the research that's needed and the money that's needed to find a cure. First down and 10 for the Tornadoes. Or rather for the Quakers, I'm sorry, with 29 seconds to go. 28-7. Dover on top. They hand off to Cooper Hill across the 30 out to the 31-yard line.
Nice 3-yard pickup on a little trap play by the Quakers on that. And that's the thing. They got to go. They just got to get moving down the field and put another one in the end zone.
Gain of 4, second down and 6, and that may be the last play of this quarter, as the Dover Tornadoes lead the New Philadelphia Quakers 28-7 at the end of 3 periods of play. We'll come back with fourth quarter action here on Big Time Sports in a moment. Stay with us. We return to action here, but the clock isn't set, so they're going to have to try. That'll delay it for momentarily, so we're ready to go. It'll be second down and 6 for the Quakers from their own 32-yard line. Trailing by 21. Cox has some time. Bird is out there by himself and just overthrown.
Right there, that was right. Bird just made a nice inside-out move, and Cody just overthrew him just a little bit on that. But he was, like you said, he was wide open on that play.
Adam Moss on the coverage. So it will be third down and 6, just underway here in the fourth quarter. And the Quakers are going to have to continue to air it out.
Yeah, they're going to have to come up with a big play here pretty quick to get back into this football game.
Cox looks across the middle. Ball's deflected and nearly intercepted. Marcus Mammarella had a chance at it.
Nice job there by the defensive linemen as they come in and saw they couldn't get to him. They just got their hands up in the air, and one of them knocked the ball up in the air. So looks like the Quakers going to have to punt here on fourth down.
So the Tornadoes can take a stranglehold on it here if they can do anything with this possession. They're pretty comfortable right now, I think, at up 21. Cody Cox gets the snap and the kick. Drapshaw runs after it's got it, and really isn't going to have much room to get out of trouble there, but they'll have good field position at the 35-yard line.
Well, puts Dover in pretty good field position right now, but I don't think they're really worried about taking that ball down and scoring too quick. They just methodically move it down the field here. They're going to take up a lot of time on this fourth quarter.
A first down and 10 for the Tornadoes. And Murtaugh will come in on this series. He transferred in last year from Indian Valley. He actually played some running back at Indian Valley, and Dover takes another timeout, their second timeout of the half. Coming up following our game, we'll have the Texas Roadhouse postgame show. We'll also have our Manor Restaurant MVP. A couple of great places to eat, so you want to make sure you stop by. Tell them that Big Time Sports sent you in. And you'll be hearing more about the plans for playoff football on Big Time Sports, so stay glued to the Times Reporter, as there'll be some information in there. And also, you want to check www.bigtimesportsohio.com. You can purchase a copy of the DVD. You can also voice your opinions. You can find out all the information that you need right there at bigtimesportsohio.com. And you can purchase a nice DVD copy of this game through the fine folks at Prestige Creative Marketing in New Philadelphia. Ready to go, first down and 10. With Marcus Mammarella at the quarterback spot. The handoff to Murtaugh, picks his way through some traffic and just carries a couple of defenders all the way out near the 45-yard line.
Just nice run there, nice solid run by Murtaugh. And you know, we haven't really alluded to it a whole lot, Scott, but it just seems by series, you know, Murtaugh's in an offensive series, then they come back in and run Johnson an offensive series, and you know, that really helps out for those running backs to stay fresh, since both of them play defense also.
So the Quakers take a timeout, and they have used 2 timeouts as well.
I think Coach Dennison right now is in that defensive huddle, just kind of giving them an earful on, you know, really get after it here and get the ball back so they can get, you know, on offense here again to get some points on the board.
You know, as you look back at the start of the game, I guess there was a little bit of a foreshadowing there. The Quakers ran the first play to Will McEwen. They lost 3 yards. It wasn't long after that they lost Will McEwen. And before you know it, they're down 14-0. Then they were down 21-0. It just honestly has not been the Quakers' night.
No, it really hasn't. It just has gone, you know, seemed like you said, you know, things went backwards, you know, right off the bat, and it just wasn't helping the Quakers at all.
It's not that we don't have time left, but the Tornadoes up by 21. Marcus Mammarella tripped up by the Quakers.
Marcus Mammarella with the carry.
And that tackle made by Cody Garbrandt.
Well, again, I don't think they're really looking at a whole lot right here for the Tornadoes. I'm sure they're looking at picking up first downs, but more than that, they're looking at taking time off the clock.
Andrew Bates receiving some treatment along the Dover sideline. Second down and 8. Mammarella looks for the little slip screen to Zahner. Some running room, gets around the block, still on his feet, tiptoeing along the sidelines, and finally knocked out of bounds in Quaker territory around the 37-yard line.
Yeah, nice downfield blocker by that offensive line to get him some openings down through there, but he's sure picking up some extra yards on himself just by cutting inside and outside and tiptoeing down the sideline.
Yeah, it wasn't just Andrew Bates getting some treatment, it's also Brandon Murtaugh along the side as we get another look at it.
It looks like they may be getting, you know, it's a nice night for football and everything, but it seems like they're getting a few cramps in them. So, but you can see right there on that replay, just a nice job, that all-around job by the Tornado offense on that.
So first and 10 for the Tornadoes at the Quaker 36-yard line. Johnson back in the backfield. First down and 10. Double inside handoff to Maz. That goes nowhere. It just developed too slowly, and they got good penetration, the Quakers did, from their defensive line.
Yeah, that was a nice job. They just played the line of scrimmage and didn't overrun the play, and as it came back through to them, they had 2 defenders just standing there waiting on him.
Second down and 12. Tornadoes not so much concerned about scoring, more concerned about taking time off the clock, as you mentioned, Chuck. Mammarella backpedals, looks across. Zahner was wide open, pass short-armed a little bit at about the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that's probably one of the worst throws we've seen Mammarella make tonight, as he was just saw him so wide open. I think he just kind of tried to aim it out there instead of throw it to him.
Tornadoes really, I think you could say their offense is so much better balanced than it's been in the past. And I think that's a lot to say about the athletes that they have.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. You know, it's awful nice to be able to put somebody with Mammarella's athletic ability back there where you know he can run or pass it. So they've just kind of taken their offense and just molded it around him a little bit this year.
Third down and 12, quarterback draw. Mammarella doesn't look like he's going to get to the stick, but he's at the 31-yard line. He picked up about 7, and it'll be 4th down, and you've got to think the Tornadoes will go for it here.
Yeah, I would think. I don't see a whole lot of use of punting the ball right now. That you know, the way they're playing defense and knowing they're up by 3 touchdowns. If they make it, that'll be fine. If they don't, they'll just turn around and go on defense. And
I'm sure
again, took time off the clock.
I'm sure they'll give Mamarella some type of run-pass option here. On 4th down and 5, at the Quaker 31-yard line. Across the middle, Zahner is there. That's got to be a flag.
It didn't look like it. I think, you know, and I'm not even sure on that, but it either was tipped a little bit or it went right through the hands of a Quaker defender. So, however they look
let's
at
take
that,
another look at that one. That looked pretty close to me. We'll see here what we come up with.
You take it from here because I'm.
Maybe it was pretty good defense.
It was just a good defensive play. I think he just
jumped the gun there. That was good defensive play by Cody Cox.
Nice defensive effort by Cox on that one.
But I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Well, here's going to be the key right now. They got to get down and get down quick to get back in here.
Cody Cox rolling to his right. Wind is starting to pick up. He's in trouble, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Zach Denham. Boy, just here up in the press box area, the wind has really started to pick up here in the later stages of this game.
Look out there, that flag's blown a little bit, you know, a little bit heavier than what it was. So a little different up here, I think, than down there. But
2nd down and 10 for New Philadelphia. They trail 28-7. Coming up here following our game, fine folks at the Texas Roadhouse bringing you the post-game show and the Manor Restaurant with our Manor Restaurant MVP. Cox on the move. Christian Ift brings him down at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Nice job by Ift on that one, just getting around his block and taking Cody back into the inside and was able to come around it and make a play. So it just seems like, you know, this New Philly's just about a half a step behind on everything they're doing. But again, you got to credit Dover's defense for what they're doing in the secondary, where Cody doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to when he drops back either.
So it'll be 3rd down for the Quakers. And Cox dropping back under pressure. Murtaugh's there, and he makes the sack. Big loss of 10. It'll be 4th down. And the Quakers really aren't going to have much choice but to punt here as we get another look.
Punt on this one. You can see that Murtaugh just come off his block. He was just coming with his head down. Made a little bit of a spin move. Got around, I believe, the center on that one. Cody had no place to go on that.
Got around Cooper Hill there.
Yep, had no place to go once he tried to look up and make a move.
So Maz and Drapcho standing back at their own 45-yard line. Cody Cox launches a nice punt that Maz will call for the fair catch. And the Tornadoes will have it at their own 47-yard line.
You know, which we've seen too a lot. You know, this has been a very clean football game by both teams tonight.
Yeah, you know, we certainly have had great cooperation too. We want to thank both athletic directors, Kevin Keffer from Dover, Tom Farbizo from New Philly, football coaches Matt Dennison from New Philly, Dean from Dover. They've been great with us all season. We really appreciate their help. We couldn't do all this without those folks. They are key parts of the big time sports broadcasts. 1st down and 10 for the Tornadoes. And the handoff to Johnson, and he is to the 46-yard line of the Quakers. And that's a 7-yard gain. 2nd down and 3.
Well, just the key to this drive for Dover right now is just they're going to take their time. I think you'll watch the quarterback and Mamarella just wait till that back judge puts his hand up in the air before he even gets the ball snapped to anybody. So, you know, they're going to go ahead and take their full allotted time on every offensive play.
Again, Johnson has the hand up, has the running room, tripped up at the 35-yard line, easily gives another first down to the Dover Tornadoes.
First down, Dover.
But this is one that you can't say the weather has played much of a factor in this contest.
No, it hasn't. This has just been a, like you said in the first half, it's just been a great night for football.
Of the football field. Thank you for your cooperation.
First down and 10 for the Tornadoes. 6:39 clock rolling here, fourth quarter. Dover on top, 28-7 over New Philadelphia. Mammarella will take it himself, and got a couple.
Marcus Mammarella with the carry.
New Philadelphia's defensive line still playing hard.
Yeah, you know, it's been one of those things that you knew coming in that Dover's offensive line was just a little bit bigger than New Philly's defensive line, and they've kind of showed it tonight where they've been able to, you know, push the Quakers around a little bit. And Mammarella and Johnson and Murtaugh's all, you know, been successful running the football.
Yeah, we just don't know how badly the injury to Will McEwen affected the Quakers. You know, it had to have a pretty big psychological impact, if nothing else. And Keith Johnson down to the 27-yard line. It'll be third down for the Tornadoes.
Pickup of 6, 3rd and 2 for Dover.
Tornadoes scored a 6-yard run by Keith Johnson, a 19-yard pass from Marcus Mammarella to Colton Zahner, a 1-yard run by Brandon Murtaugh, and a 1-yard run by Marcus Mammarella. New Philadelphia's only score was a 1-yard run by Cody Cox. 3rd and 2. Mammarella, the handoff to Johnson, and boy, he's going to be, I think, short. It'll be fourth down.
He'll be just a little bit short on that one, Scott. He tried to jump up over the pile and just didn't quite get it. So had to put a fourth and probably about a half a yard short for the Tornadoes on this one. You know, it'll be interesting here to see too. I know if you know, you got about 4:45 on the clock to see if they take some of these starters out for the Tornadoes and go ahead and let some of their second unit in.
Well, the Tornadoes have one timeout remaining, and it looks like they're probably going to end up taking it here. Just let as much clock run off as they can. And Tornadoes playing the percentages.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of the game, please allow the
So the Dover Tornadoes look like they're going to come up with another victory against the New Philadelphia Quakers here with 4:24 to go.
I think you're in pretty good shape on that one, and I think, you know, it's just one of those things you've talked about, and I know being from New Philly and being in this game and talking, I think, what will this be now, 14 out of the last 16 meetings. I believe the Tornadoes have been fortunate enough to be on top, but you know, it's also one of those things that this game is also, if you look back through the years, gone in streaks too. You know, it's just waiting on New Philly to get one of their turns to get a couple in a row, and looks like tonight's not going to be the start of that.
Well, my good friend Bob McConnell's the 8th grade coach at New Philadelphia. He's got a pretty nice team of 8th graders coming up.
Yes, they did. I know we talked about it a little bit. Both 7th grade and 8th grade have both been able to beat the Tornadoes this year, and I think the Tornadoes took care of the freshman squad 16-0 the other night. So, you know, both teams have got athletes coming.
4th down and 1. Tornadoes have it packed in tight. Drapcho in motion. The pitch to Johnson. Johnson has the first down before Bird is able to wrestle him to the ground inside of the 25-yard line.
Kind of little switch up there for the Tornadoes on that play. Everybody had it packed inside, thinking they were just going to take that quarterback sneak or run it right up the middle, and they went ahead and put Johnson on the outside, and he was able to pick up about 4 yards.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Dover's really shown all that much in this game. You know, when you look at the playoffs coming up next week, I'm not sure they've shown all they have.
No, I mean, you know, they started running the football early in the game, and they had success at it, and they just stayed with it, and that's, you know, that's pretty much at it. I know they threw, what, 10 or 11 passes maybe the first half, and probably only threw in about 4 or 5 this half. So
we don't want to downplay it that the Tornadoes would also become ECOL champs as Ian Drapcho with the run inside of the 20 down to the 18-yard line.
You know,
It's always nice to win that league championship.
Exactly. That's the thing. You know, when all coaches do, they put goals up on the board for their team at the beginning of the year, and you know, they all know that everything pretty much runs through your league champion. If you can win that, you got a pretty good shot most years of making it to the playoffs. So again, you can see that that's pretty much what's going to happen tonight.
Certainly would be a shame if the Quakers go 9-1 and not make the playoffs.
Not make the playoffs, you're right. But I think right now they had to have too many things in their favor, and a couple teams that were pretty much guaranteed to win would have to get beat.
A handoff inside to Johnson, down to the 13-yard line. And unfortunately, the Quakers didn't get any help from their non-conference teams. Canton Central going into tonight 2-7, West Branch 3-6, Marietta 1-8. John Glenn 2-7.
Right, and a couple of those teams had to play pretty difficult games tonight. I think West Branch had a big one, and Canton Central had a big one with St. Thomas Aquinas. And again, neither one of those teams I don't think were very good this year. So that kind of, put the damper on getting those second-level points. Is a lot of times what you need to get in.
Tornadoes with it, first down and 10 at the Quaker 12-yard line. Mammarella is going to take it himself, and not much room to go as the Quakers quickly closed in and shut it down early. Tackle made there by Dejon Dansby.
This is one of these things too. Now you get 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go, and Dover not only taking their time, but I think Coach F has so much respect for Matt Dennison and vice versa that, you're not going to try to pound one in unless somebody misses a tackle here or something to let them in the end zone.
So second down and 11. Mammarella pass to Zonner. Zonner's got some room. Slips another tackle and in for the touchdown.
Right there it was. You missed 2 tackles and you put one in the end zone for him. So that pretty much took care of that one.
So here in the fourth quarter, we get a score with 1:51 to go. So the Tornadoes are going to be going in to the playoffs on a big high after this victory over New Philadelphia.
Yeah, not only hopes to get a playoff, they get a home playoff game, so that's going to make it that much sweeter for them.
The kick is up, and the kick is good. I don't think they've got enough points that they're going to pick up from this one that they would leapfrog Steubenville for the number one seed.
Yeah, right. I looked at that the other day, and it seemed like Steubenville was, a good 3 or 4 points ahead of the Tornadoes. But on the other hand, the Tornadoes were, well in second place in their region to be able to not get hurt even if they did win, that nobody's going to leapfrog them into second, which, if you want to look down the road, Scott, those first 2 teams, usually they're pitted away from each other all the way through until the regional final. So if both Steubenville and Dover could, continue on through, they'd meet in the regional final game, which would, I think, be a pretty sweet matchup.
Like they did a couple of years ago. You've got to think that, no question, Dover wants to stay away from Steubenville. I don't think Steubenville cares who they play.
Right. I think that's one of those things that, if you pick maybe the top 10 teams in the state of Ohio, I think, Steubenville would probably get a little bit of recognition along with Youngstown Cardinal Moody, in that Division III.
Well, the quarterback that beat the Tornadoes in the regional final, Zach Colaros, is now doing very well for the University of Cincinnati.
He's taking over and playing for them.
So 35-7 after the kickoff. Garbrandt takes it at his own 5. A lot of red jerseys are there, and Adam Moss with another special teams tackle along with Chance Shalosky. And the Quakers continue to have terrible field position to start drives.
Yes, they have. If you look at the field position all night long, it seems like New Philly's been backed up to their end zone a lot more than the Tornadoes have. And again, I'm not sure. We'll have to check the stats, but I'm not sure Dover hasn't even punted yet tonight, I don't think.
Quakers with it, first down and 10. Cody Cox will lead a final drive here for the Quakers with 1:44 to go. He'll take it himself. Gets a little running room out near the 20 for a gain of 7, 2nd down and 3. Scott Robinson and Chuck Rest have enjoyed bringing you high school football this season. Chuck, appreciate your help again this year.
Well, Scott, I really appreciate you guys having me on the broadcast. It's always a fun time working with you.
So we are faced with a 2nd down for the Quakers. Clock rolling, minute 10 to go. And Shilowski has Cox, and they'll rip him down to the turf along with Christian Ift.
Yeah, Cox is, you got to feel for him because, he tried to put it on his shoulders after McEwen went down. And, it almost looks like the Tornadoes know that, he's going to be the one to stop right now if we're going to win this football game. And they pretty much handled Cody all night long.
Well, if I'm Matt Dennison, I don't think I want to get Cody Cox hurt. I might just take a knee here.
Yep, that could be, and go one more play, and this should, the 106th one should be a history.
They'll hand it off to Cooper Hill, and he doesn't make much progress, and I think that's probably going to do it. So the Dover Tornadoes continue their winning streak against the New Philadelphia Quakers. They come up with a victory, 35-7 over New Philadelphia in the 106th meeting between these two fine teams that represent the Tuscarawas County area very, very well. We'll come back. We'll have the Texas Roadhouse post-game show and name our Manor Restaurant MVP. Stay with us here on Big Time Sports. The Dover Tornadoes come up with a 35-7 victory over the New Philadelphia Quakers in the annual meeting between the two arch rivals. And pretty good ball game for the first half. Dover led 14-0 at the half. Philly came back in the third quarter to put a score on the board. Dover answered with a couple more, and it finished at 35-7. This is the Texas Roadhouse post-game show, so let's take a look at the final numbers thanks to our good friend Jay Yonders.
Well, you can see right there, and you know why Dover come out on top, 35-7. Key to the ball game, no turnovers either way, which made it nice. But New Philly struggled offensively. Seemed like all evening long they had a couple drives that they were able to move the ball on, and other than that, Dover pretty much stuffed them defensively. 24 attempts, 53 yards. Passing, they were 6 of 17 for 93 yards for just a total of 146 yards tonight. On the other hand, Dover, and you got to give credit to Dover's offensive and defensive line for their effort tonight, and a nice job just all the way around. 46 attempts rushing, 235 yards, and 10 of 17 passing for 111 yards for a total of 346 yards on offense. Again, no turnovers by either team, but you got to hand it to the Tornadoes again. They just pretty much dominated the football game.
Well, congratulations to the Quakers on a fine 9-1 season, and also to the Dover Tornadoes for winning the East Central Ohio League Championship. And our post-game show brought to you by the fine folks at the Texas Roadhouse on Bluebell Drive Northwest in New Philadelphia. Stop in and have some of those great ribs and all that other good stuff they have down there at the Texas Roadhouse. We also appreciate them coming and shooting off the Texas Roadhouse t-shirt gun and all that good stuff. Final thing we need to do tonight is name the Manor Restaurant MVP for the 106th meeting between Dover and New Philadelphia. And our MVP is number 7, Marcus Mammarella of the Dover Tornadoes. There's a good look at him. Happy young man tonight. Dover finishes the season at 9-1. They're going to have a playoff game here at Crater Stadium next week. So Marcus Mammarella is our Manor Restaurant MVP. Congratulations to both teams for an exciting week leading up to the big game. Dover wins it over New Philadelphia 35-7. For Chuck Rest and our Big Time Sports and Prestige Creative Marketing team, I'm Scott Robinson saying so long, everybody.